Kiddos, we are back for our last day of text structure review using RAP. Now, we're not done with this because remember, this is our goal for a while, but it's our last day of just kind of the introduction of reviewing these structures, putting them into RAP. Next week, what you're going to see is big passages. We're digging into it. We're getting really deep the next 2 weeks, okay? So remember, this is our goal. We're identifying the structure of an informational text. We're justifying with evidence from the text, okay? Today, the review that we're going to do is going to be sequencing. We know sequencing is putting things in order, okay? Keywords that I'm going to look for are things like first, second, third, but I also need to think about dates like 1960, 1834, right? I can think of words that tell a time, like today or yesterday or in 4 years or 8 years later. All of those words give me a sense of time, right? Okay, what we're going to do today is I'm going to model for you reading this passage. We already know it's sequencing because we know that's our focus today, but it's good to still see me finding those signal words, picking out multiple choice, and then I'm going to put this into RAP for you, okay? So remember, I'm a good reader. I'm going to read it first. Here is my title, A Child's Growth Stages. Well, man, if I go and look at my anchor chart, what do you see right here? Life stages, right? So it kind of gives me a hint, even though I already knew this was sequencing. Oh, excuse me, kiddo, sorry. Even though I already know it's sequencing, it kind of gives me a hint. That's why titles are super important and why you've got to make sure you're paying attention to them, okay? All right, here we go. As a child grows, they go through several stages. A baby cannot do anything for him or herself. Parents must feed, change, and move the child. After a year of life. Okay, so I see after, and it's also telling me a time, a year of life. Most babies can crawl and pick up food off a tray. They are still not able to take care of themselves, and parents must do most of the work. Walking begins after, I hear that word, about a year. Again, a sense of time, okay? After a year. Once a child can walk, they learn a lot from exploring the world. Oh, here I see another thing of time. Over the next few years, toddlers learn to talk and take care of themselves. By the time they are, here's an age, which kind of tells me that time has passed, right? By the time they are 5 years old, they are ready to start school. So while I don't have dates here, and I only have a couple transition words and that's after, think about the time it's giving me, okay? So we're talking about a baby. We're talking about they're a year old. After a year, they can walk. Over the next few years, so we're talking 2 or 3 years old, they're toddlers. They can take care of themselves. And then at 5 years old, they can go to school. So what I have to ask myself now is, okay, what is the author trying to put in order here? If I know it's sequencing, if I see all of these signal words, I'm like, oh, this is definitely sequencing. I've still got to ask myself, what is the author trying to put in order? Well, that's where my title gives me a good hint, okay? But it's basically how a child grows. The author's putting in order how a child grows. So now that I have that in my mind, notice that I'm doing all of that before I ever look at my multiple choice. Let's look. What is the structure of the text? The author is putting the events of how children grow in order. The author is comparing babies to toddlers. The author is discussing the effects of learning how to walk. The author is discussing the problems that walking can cause. Okay, so let's really think. I like this one because it says putting in order, right? Really like that. I don't think that this is the best choice on B because the author's not really comparing babies to toddlers. He does talk about what a baby can do and what a toddler can do, but he didn't tell me how they're the same. He didn't really tell me how they were different, so I don't really think that that's the best choice. The author is discussing effects of learning how to walk. Well, he tells me they learn how to walk, but not the things they can do after they walk, so I'm not going to go with that one either. And the author is discussing the problems that walking can cause. Well, we didn't hear any problems, right? So my best choice is A. Now, we're ready to put this into race, okay? So, come on. There we go. I know that with my R, I'm going to restate. This is my question. What is the structure of the text? The structure of the text is, I'm going to answer, sequencing. Then I give that big, pretty because I've got to tell my reader what the author was doing. The author is putting the events of how a child grows in order. That's it, kiddos. After this because statement, all I'm doing is telling whoever it is that's asking me the question that I know that it's sequencing, and I also know what the author is sequencing. I know what the author is putting in order. Then I wrap it all up with my nice, pretty proof that says, I know this because the author says. usually we have in the text it says here, but I had a kiddo ask me if they could say this, and I said, sure. So I wanted to put it in here and show you how it looked. I know this because the author says, as a child grows, it goes through many stages. And over the next few years, toddlers learn to talk and take care of themselves. All of this shows that they go through many stages. I gave you a signal word over the next few years. What this does, this paragraph that we've written, it shows that whoever asked us the question, it shows them that we have a deep understanding of the passage. I know the structure. I can tell you what is being organized, what the topic is, kind of like main idea almost. And not only can I tell you the structure and the main idea, but I can also give you some evidence to back it up. Okay? All right, kiddos. Oh, take a picture of this if you want it. That way you have it today when you do your assignment. Okay? Put it on your desktop. Save it for when you're working. All right. This is going to be your exit ticket today. It's called Puke Your Guts Out. I want you to fill out the graphic organizer and make sure you fill out your wrap statement. Go back to this picture, or if you don't take a picture, go back and rewatch this video if you need to for help, okay? All right, kiddos, I cannot wait to see the awesome work you did.